What's up, everyone? CR2 here, bringing you another 87's practice and qualifying guide, vice versa. This time for Richmond. Just really quickly, I'm still learning Richmond. I've bought the track only 2-3 days ago. Got at most maybe 100 laps of practice. I feel like I've got it together pretty well now. Just finer points to put together to really be front running at the race, or just kind of anything else that's important to know. We're gonna find out together in this video. Really quickly, mostly cloudy, just one click right on from test drive at the schedule. It said mostly cloudy. Even clear skies probably would be 71 at the most, as this is getting into late afternoon, and I don't know if iRacing takes into account the time change that the US had recently, where sunset is now an hour earlier. Kind of interesting to look into, but regardless of that, 68 degrees track temp, pretty cool. And I don't anticipate that getting warmer. Maybe just 1 degree plus during the race from tire heat off of multiple cars. Really quickly, I just want to tick something off. Let's see. Let's turn that off for now, because we will be hearing that every 23 to 24 seconds. My own personal preferences, we're going to go way up to plus 14, just this way into the center of the corner. I don't have my left hand like all the way at the bottom of the steering wheel, say 6 or 7 o'clock, so kind of offset that this way. It's a little more comfortable for center of the turns. Brake bias, a little bit, got to be a little bit careful. If you go too low, you will lock up your rears and just absolutely destroy yourself. So practice somewhere around here, 49.2, 51.6, essentially what's going to be most comfy for each of you to be able to get on the brakes as hard as you can without locking up tires. Let's get on out there. So best I've managed is a 23.31. See what we can do, and then also reset that up. Same as usual, enter up high, get your longer run to the line, kind of ride the line, the wall. Once you feel your car turning down, you can get on the throttle. Yep, that's not what we want to do, so we're going to reset that. We're going to reset that again. Want to favor a straighter exit onto the back straight. Brake around that black Xfinity sign. That's too early on the throttle. And a 23.34. We'll go ahead and step on out of the car, kind of take you guys through what I'm using as my visual markers. So enter up high, wait until you feel your car turning on down to get back on the throttle. Be aggressive but also smooth. If you stomp it, you will slide your rears. Just really quickly for your qualifying lap, kind of brake couple squares on the wall, I'll call them. 2 before that, what's essentially the minimized NASCAR logos up on the walls. You certainly want to brake before you hit that, probably more ideally a red painted square before that to be able to make your turn one corner. Wait until your car turns down to get back on the throttle. Kind of favor a straight exit. You got a sharp transition right here from the turn to the backstretch, from banking to flat essentially. It's a sharp transition. If you're not careful, car will slide out, or the right rear will lose traction and slide out. So careful in qualifying, and still even be careful through your race. Brake around this black Xfinity sign, either at the start of it I'd say, because I did overdrive this a little bit, I think. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and change that. Probably brake more towards the end of it. It's tough to watch this, but then also your corner entry, going from right center to left of your screen right away. And then you're just going to wait up until you feel your car turning on down to get back on the throttle. Might break loose, so be careful. Pretty well about once you see the Geico restart zone coming into your windshield view is really pretty well when you can get back on the throttle. Going to be kind of very fine tuning. You want to brake as late as you can, but you also don't want to slide up into turn one, because that's kind of how you sacrifice some time. And of course, same for going into turn three. So kind of be patient on throttle, try to favor straighter exits for a run. Kind of more or less same thing for leaving turn four, and especially watch, be careful of your tires, breaking loose rear tires, I should rephrase. So let's go ahead and get back on in. We'll go over the race pace. And this time, hopefully, I remember to keep track of our starting lap. For your race pace, I want to say brake at the start of that Xfinity sign, ride your center corner, wait until your nose starts turning to get back on the throttle, and then just be smooth. Brake at the third NASCAR logo for your race pace instead of the second. Reason why, as this is a short track week, so just 100 laps, fuel is not a concern. You can see right here on estimated 120. So very, very, very sure fuel is not going to be a concern in this coming week. So instead, the name of the game is make your tires last as long as possible. Try to keep the speed in the tires as long as you can. Stay out as long as possible. And if your race goes full green, stay out. Do not pit, no matter what. You will lose very likely 2 laps if you go for even just 2 tires. I haven't tested that for myself, of course, but short track weeks, you stay out as long as you absolutely can. Brake at the Xfinity sign. Try to have all your braking done before you start your turn in. Ride your center, wait until you get the turn in the nose, and smoothly back on throttle. So you're a little bit loose off of exit there. Be confident in your braking. Try to get all of your braking done in one go. Don't kind of waver up and down on your brake pressure. This is something I was guilty of doing. You brake, kind of let off a little bit, brake a little bit more pressure, and that's just kind of inefficient, as I'll put it, as you want to be confident in your braking. Get it all done in one go. Consistent pressure up until you're down to make your corner. Let off, roll your center, and then smooth on your throttle for turn exit. I know I didn't mention this, but I know lap 5 was our first practice lap. Roll your center, wait until you turn on down. Tracking the wrong comparison bar. There we go. So you'll see that I'm still kind of fairly inconsistent. I know the lines. I feel like I've got my markers put together pretty well. But just to hit those consistently, get the speed consistent through turn center, off of exit, into the turn, to say keep bringing off 24.4, 24.45, just slightly slower lap after lap as the tires fall off. See a 24.305. Get your braking done, roll your center, slowly back on the throttle, and there you go, just minimal resistance from the car and gaining speed. Very similar approach, I feel like, to Iowa from week 1 this season. Kind of high up entry, not right up to the wall, but turn on down, favor a straighter exit. See 24.403. Wait for that turn down. And just to kind of demonstrate what you may think is kind of a more optimal line, we'll show this off next lap, where you want to think, okay, just wrap the yellow apron line the whole way around. Okay, let's try that, see how it works. So turn on down, get to that yellow line, gotta wait, kind of push up towards the wall a little bit. Actually, not terribly slower. Okay, so you do have some options. I think that opens up some options. You can overdrove that turn a little bit. You can favor wrapping the yellow line through both turns, as that'll protect you from dive bomb attempts. But I believe kind of that high entry cut down low is going to be a little bit faster, a little more consistent. A little slower there, in fact. Okay, so this was surprising. I was coming into this video expecting, okay, just kind of have the same approach of Iowa from week 1. But kind of running the lower apron line, I'll call it, is showing off some opportunity for options. .5. And as you guys practice, kind of play around with brake bias. I'm at 49.2 there. Let's cook it down to 48.4. You don't want to go too low, because if you slide out your rears on entry, you're going to slowly kill off your car's ability to launch out of the corners. Felt pretty good there. And very well, like most short tracks, they're very rhythm tracks. You want to find your rhythm lap after lap, find your markers, find your speed, and just settle in. and just be able to hit those lines and markers lap after lap for 100 laps pretty much. I want to say 49.2 or 50% would be what I'll be going for. Comfy, can get on the brakes confidently, and just allow the car to roll that center up until I'm getting back on throttle. Overdrove that a little bit, and that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to have to still brake through your corner center as your car is kind of pushing up, because that is how you slowly scuff off your right front just a little bit every lap, and say through the course of 10 laps you're now suddenly 2 or 3 tenths off of everyone else, and there's just nothing you can do. ...21 laps, I think this is lap 23 now, in fact, for this run. I want to say lap time fall off is close to coming to an end. And you see, anytime that I'm kind of overshooting my entry, just keep slowing down. Don't try to force your car to make that turn. Just wait for your nose to gain that turn back down the hill, and then get back on throttle. Because odds are when you do that, you can just simply, it offers you the chance for a faster run out of the turns. Be confident in your braking, be confident in your throttle input, not overly aggressive, but just feel out the car. Find where you've got speed, but the car still feels comfy. A little bit loose there, that's one spot to be careful of. It's a sudden transition from banking to essentially flat track leaving turn 2. And if you catch that transition wrong, not necessarily wrong, but you're on the throttle hard, it will unload your right rear and allow it to spin. So I'll see if I can demonstrate that for you guys right now. See, up high on that, actually not loose there, but I'm sure through some point you guys will feel that. Head back on down towards the yellow apron racing line. A little loose there off of exit. And remember, this is 100 laps. Fuel is not a necessity, so stay out as long as you can. Wait until that caution. And if it stays full green, stay out for all 100 laps, because odds are that time you lose on pit road to pick up new tires, you very likely won't make up. And anybody that wants to just charge on through, you feel like they're racing way harder than you are, let them by, because not guarantee, but very likely you'll just pass them by in 20 laps when they're realizing their right front is fried, their right rear is fried because they're stomping the gas down on turn exit. Kind of to show off a couple of things that you don't want to do is getting on the throttle too early. So you get on the gas too early, don't allow your car to get that turn down. Hard to do this because my brain is just so hardwired now. Say right here. Pushing up, gotta brake, gotta brake. Gotta brake, and I still hit the wall. So certainly be careful of that. I don't think I got any wheel damage from that. I hope. Wait until your car gets that turned down, be a little bit patient, and then back on throttle. Same thing you can do for turn 3 and 4. Back on throttle too soon, say right there. Okay, that actually still pushing, so that's right on that edge, but you're asking a little bit more than you should be, in my opinion, from your right side tires, possibly both right front and right rear. On the throttle there. Pushing up, gotta lift, gotta brake. Yep, just barely get the wall. All about patience, getting back on that throttle. And if you've got too much turn into, you see I broke loose. If you've got too much left turn into it when you're getting back on throttle, you're very likely to break loose. I want to say, when you're just by yourself, no threat of losing position, no pressure from behind, run the line that you're comfy with, where you feel you're fastest, but you're also kind of conserving some tire. But however, say if you're defending position, I want to say the higher up entry, cut down as much as you can without taking away the lower car's line, as it should offer you a stronger run onto the front and back straights. Now for taking position, you're very likely going to have to take the inside line. However, this is kind of dependent on the car in front of you. If they let you have the high line and you're feeling good there, then take that. If they're riding the high line and they make you take the low line, then certainly you'll have to try it there. The lines here are a little bit situation dependent. I don't think a low line or a high line has a definite advantage. Like say with Indianapolis now coming to be a couple weeks ago, where just some way somehow kind of that half groove to whole lane up just offered the outside car a much better drive off. That's just some frustrating racing, I must admit, but it's not going to push me away from racing 87s. You may notice I'm beginning to drive it a little bit more aggressive, just to see throughout this run what speed there still is in the car. Or drove fast, I'll let it put in a little extra brake in the center. That's what you want to avoid. And again, ladies and gentlemen, don't take what I have in this video as gospel. I'm still learning this track. If you find something better that I haven't found, absolutely go with that. Essentially what you see right now, I'm learning now as well. A little bit of the inconfident braking there. Try not to do that, of course. So I want to say tire lap time fall off seems to stop somewhere in the 24.6 range, maybe high 24.5, depending on track temp, depending how you're able to preserve speed in the tires. Be confident in the braking, roll the center. I still overdrove that. I'm beginning to have a little bit of trouble for 1 and 2. So let's click that on down to 48.4. There we go, that feels better. So this isn't a green flag stop here that I'm going to do, but let's just say a hypothetical of a yellow flag, 20 laps to go. In that scenario, I would very likely consider just a 2-tire stop and certainly no need for fuel either. This is also a chance to look at the tires because I'm very sure I've probably worn off a little bit too much of the right front. It feels like I don't have as much turn as I should, so not this lap will come in. Perhaps just a couple more laps from now. I do want to run one more complete lap to get a baseline. Okay, 672, so I definitely want to say confidently now, tire fall off, depending on track temp, should be somewhere in the 24.6, high 24.5, low 24.7 if it's a little hotter. So let's come on in this time. We'll just say this is a yellow flag pit stop right now. No need for fuel either. I don't recommend adding fuel when you're coming for 2 tires. You will be dangerously loose.
5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
And let's see. Okay, 89.87, so that's a little bit surprising. So when I was running, say, 24.8s for a few laps, I may have just had too much heat in the right front.
Going.
Add the brake bias up just in case it's wildly loose for the first, I want to say, 3-4 laps, because short track definitely feels like it's got a ton of turn in it. Be conservative for the first couple of laps. Oh yeah, it's got a ton of turn. It's going right now where I want it to go. A little bit loose there, it felt like. not a ton of left tire wear, and that was probably after, I want to say 50 laps, that run. So we could probably say confidently the baseline after a 50 lap run, you should be looking at maybe upper 80 percentages for both of your right side tires. Of course, try to keep those even. 24.0, I'm sure I could even go faster than that if I wanted to. Not wildly loose, just kind of be aware. Of course, I recommend practicing this kind of scenario too. This way, come a late wreck, 25 to go, restart closer to 20 to go likely. 2 tires stop, I'm very, very sure. Because on 4 tires when we started this run, I want to say fastest was, on what I'll consider race pace, was a 24.3, maybe a little bit quicker than that. We'll look into that after this run. Oh yeah, that's loose, so be cautious on your inputs. Overdrove fat slightly. Feels very good with right side tires on. Takes a little bit managing, as it is loose, but doesn't want to send you into the wall from just any small touch of the throttle. So I'm sure this video is going long now, but this is worth looking into. Fastest we managed here off of just new right side tires, I think was 24.0, 23.9. So let's try to reset to the same scenario. Instead, I'm taking 4 tires, no fuel, no need for fuel whatsoever. But we're just going to replace all of our tires instead.
3, 2, 1. Right here.
Burned off a little more right rear, not surprising, of course.
Okay, punch it.
Won't set up for, say, a mock qualifying run. This is a race scenario still. .686, and that's what I felt like would be in that scenario. 20 lap run to go, that's kind of how much I would push the car. 20 laps is still You can run it a little bit harder, but if you run it too hard, you're going to find yourself falling back in the last few laps. 23.85. .711. So this will of course come down to driver capability. Right sides will get you track position. Quick thoughts, think I think four tires will be faster over say a 20 to 30 lap run. But when you're coming down to the last quarter of the race in short tracks, track position becomes a heavier consideration. So kind of like North Wilkesboro, there's not going to be one right answer for all situations. You've got to take everything into account. Where are you on the track? Who's behind you? Who's ahead of you? How many laps are left to go? That's a lot to consider. So really the only advice I can offer is kind of think about all of those variables for the specific situation you find yourself in. If there's a yellow with 50 to go, then I would certainly say come on in, get four tires without a doubt, though. Throughout that run, assuming it goes green from there, they'll last longer than the right side tires call. Say 20 to go, crash, probably take right sides and stay out from then on. Some may even just say stay out and bet on a bunch of mayhem happening to just click off laps under yellow and just hold that position, and all I have to do is drive 50 miles per hour. So consider all of those variables, guys. I'm very sure that everyone watching has the ability to make the right educated guesses. A little bit too hard on the throttle there. And there we go, 24.31. So from lap 5, started at 23.8, 23.89, 0.94. I kind of started backing it off a little bit there in the name of conservation, I think. And just for many of these laps, you see 24.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. Lap 34, 0.6. Kind of had a mishap on that lap. And then 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. And even 50 laps later, still running 24.6. So I want to say track temp stayed the same at 67. I think even cooled off a degree. So assuming your conditions are something like this, try to aim for pretty well from, could say, from lap 25 till the rest of the race. Try to click off 24.6. We'll just say we never even did our mock pit stop, and just from lap 55 all the way to lap 100 if we did 24.6. Now also after ran a 24.0 off of just right sides, even managed to get that down to a 23.9, drove it a little bit harder. But on four tires, trying to say the same scenario, restart with 20 laps to go, 23.6, 3/10 faster, but then say I'm starting 10th place and first car up on new tires is probably starting, and we'll just say first. We'll say everybody pit, some took 2 tires on that time. Would I be able to, with the 4 tire advantage, catch up to say P1? And just that's another thing to consider. So as you're getting to the last half, last third of the race, 33 laps ago, try to prioritize track position more, because possibility of wrecks happening a bunch at that point in the race. Consider all these variables, guys. And this has been another long guide, but I am very confident that that everything in here is helpful to anybody that watches. And this has helped me too. I certainly feel like I've gotten a little bit better since starting these video guides. Very big reason to throw in a little extra practice versus just say Monday night, first time software 87s is coming up, whatever. Put in practice for that 30 minutes pre-race. Whereas 2-3 days ahead of time, I'm setting up these videos for everyone. That's now probably nearly triple the amount of practice I'd nearly do. Say an hour and a half pre-race week, I'll say, putting in that practice. And now not only am I myself much more knowledgeable, everybody here that's watching, you're much more knowledgeable too, and I'm very happy to hear that they are helpful. And once again, guys, thank you very much for watching these guides. They're going to keep coming. And look sometime next week for 87s at Richmond video. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been CR2 Racing. Take care and see you all next time in the next video.